And I said, I was like, we just need someone that everyone likes and is good enough to like hold this whole episode by themselves, and that no one would be disappointed in the fact that it's not the regular cast. And I was like, somebody like Bradley Cooper.
Hi, I'm Jonathan Bloomberg, writing for movies in Sweden.
Yes,
Nice.
I remember this
Yeah,
movie.
so I finished the entire final season just the day before yesterday, and been loving this one just as much as I have with the other ones that has come before. So I'm sad to see it go, but I do hope that we might return someday in the future for maybe a movie or something. So I'm sure everyone who already enjoys the show will love the final one as well. So that's that. I'm going to hold this interview back until the first episode has aired because I want to ask specifically about Bradley Cooper in that one. A
Okay.
big spoiler for anyone who hasn't seen it yet. So I will hold that. But I just
Okay.
wanted to know how that idea came around, doing this prequel thing, and also landing him in that major part of the episode.
Yeah. Well, we always had played around with this sense of like, these interludes where we kind of get a little piece of time. And so it felt fitting that going into this last season, that maybe we would like show an even deeper, cut of the story of,
Yeah.
how this family like kind of like got into religion in the first place. And so, I grew up in a southern town, Fredericksburg, Virginia, where a ton of Civil War stuff happened. And I would find like Civil War bullets in my backyard when I was a kid. And so
Wow.
I've always been fascinated by that war. And maybe it's just because I grew up in that area and kind of would see it. I would see my town and my neighborhood in like pictures, that were from the 1800s. And so it just always kind of fascinated me. And yeah, I think I actually got the idea for it during the third season. I remember I was like driving home from work, and I just had this idea about a chaplain, the guy lying about being a chaplain in the Civil War and like giving people their death rights and not really being good at it. I don't know. It's just that image kind of came to me, and I went home that day and I wrote the first 15 pages of that episode. I just sat down and just kind of spit it out real quick, and I wasn't sure what would ever happen with it. And when we started this season and I kind of pulled it out, I wasn't sure if it would be maybe just the cold open or and just kind of give you a glimpse of it. But then the one we kind of started writing on it, I kind of wanted it just to be an entire episode. I liked the world. I thought it was interesting. And so we wrote it, and I was kind of apprehensive if HBO would go for it, and all the things. If people were, you're starting a season with none of the characters that are in the show, and but it seemed like it was fun, and so then it became the point of like who do we cast in this, and I think literally I was sitting in a meeting with some of the other producers, and I was like, we just need someone that everyone likes and is good enough to like hold this whole episode by themselves, and that no one would be disappointed in the fact that it's not the regular cast. And I was like, somebody like Bradley Cooper. And and then it was just like, well, why don't we ask him? And it was like, all right, well, yeah, why not? And so I don't think it was a lot like the casting of John Goodman. I didn't think we had a shot to get John Goodman in the show, and then we tried and we got him, and the same held true for Bradley. I sent him the script, and he got back to me like pretty quickly and was just like, yeah, man, I want to do this. And what was kind of cool is he had never even seen Gemstones before. He and then once he got casted, he said he didn't want to watch it until the show was done because he didn't want to be influenced by it. He really wanted it to be its own thing. And I thought it was kind of impressive about how much he felt like a gemstone.
Yeah.
He felt like a gemstone without having any of that other knowledge. And honestly, it was a dream. I mean, we shot that episode in just a little under 10 days, and it was hard, and it was ambitious. We had a lot going on, and we definitely would not have been able to pull it off without him and how dedicated and just awesome he was to work with. I mean, I would get to set, he'd be in his wardrobe, he would never go to his trailer, and he would just sit there all day long, just being in it, and it was awesome. That was the attitude we needed to pull something like this off.
Yeah, and I loved it. I just, that's one of the things I love with your shows in general. never knowing what to expect, and that's not what I expected at all from the opening. So for my final question, since we only have less than 2 minutes left now, I just want to hear you guys what you feel about like sending a character off like you're doing now, how that feeling is when you know the end is coming.
Oh man, I think the end is it's never easy, especially when you really enjoy what you're doing. But there is a sense of like honoring something when you get to sort of end it, and then a lot of gratitude for getting to have lived it. Nothing goes away anymore, right? So these characters will always be at our fingertips. The sad part, I think, is personally not getting to play with your friends anymore, but grateful that it happened.
Yeah, and you, Danny?
Yeah, I feel the same way. You know, it's like we created something, and there's a beauty in finality. I think there's a beauty in like something being over, and then it can be appreciated as a whole.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think it's like the personal stuff is like what's the hardest. I think it's like, you know, like Cassie said, I took it for granted that I would see these people every year and get to hang out with them and see them and work with them. But through that, some beautiful friendships have emerged, and so I have a feeling it will not be the last time.
Yeah. Well, I sure hope so, and I do hope that you keep creating great shows like you have always done. And I've said this every time we speak, that I really appreciate the fact that you don't write seasons that end with cliffhangers, contain stories. So I just want to keep telling you that, so you always do that.
I appreciate that. Thank you. I'm glad you appreciate it too.
Yeah. So thanks a lot for taking your time to speak with me today, and best of luck with the premiere of this final season.
I appreciate it. Thank you.